much everything today has gone smoothly so far. By the grace of God, I did not have to slide my fifth wheel this morning. All my extra weights were legal as it was. Didn't have to make any adjustments. And we're making great time. It's not even noon yet. It's about 10 minutes before noon. Probably at least 250 miles today. About 140 or so more miles to go before we get to where we want to stop for the night. From Charlotte this morning, we got on I-77 north and took that to I-81 north and been on there since then. We'll be on 81 the rest of the day. Still in Virginia for about another half hour. I'll cross into small portions of West Virginia and Maryland before getting back into Pennsylvania. I'm going to stop at the TA in Harrisburg off exit 77 tonight. Probably have dinner at the Country Pride restaurant there. I'd be happy if this Country Pride location is a buffet, but I'll eat there regardless of whether or not it is, because I didn't have a hot meal yesterday. I'm still trying to get used to having no idea what lies in store for me beyond the next day or so, never knowing what my next assignment is going to be until I complete my current assignment. It's both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing that I get to see something new just about every day. I'm not just staying in the same place, doing most of the same stuff all the time. But it's also hard not being able to make plans in advance to hang out with people because I never know where I'm going to be more than a day in advance. And even when I am near any of my friends, and they've got their busy schedules, so it has to work out perfectly by divine providence for me to be in their area at a time when they happen to be free. A month from today, I hope to be in Wisconsin for the Spiritus end of year festivities. As a new trucker, I don't have any experience of being delayed by my company trying to get to where I want to take my time off. I know it could happen. For now, I'll just have to have faith that my boss will do his part to get me routed to Wisconsin in time for the festivities. We made it where we wanted to make it for the night. We're parked at this TA here off exit 77 of I-81 near Hershey. It's a lovely day, so I'm parked here at about 2:45 and went on a walk, prayed my Divine Mercy Chaplet. I'm taking a look around, enjoying the weather, seeing if there are any other buffet restaurants within walking distance before I settle for the Country Pride tonight. I still haven't gone in there to see whether or not this one's all you can eat. Earlier this week, I sent a message to T.A. Petro's Facebook page asking them to send me a list of all their locations where they have all-you-can-eat restaurants. And they said they couldn't email me anything, they had to send me something in the physical mail to my parents' house. So I probably won't have that until summer. But I'm still finding out places as I go along where I can enjoy a buffet meal. Apparently the Flying J in North Carolina, where I stopped for fuel early this morning, had a buffet. I didn't eat there, but I probably could have if I really wanted to. Thanks be to God, the Country Pride here is a buffet, so I'll be going to bed tonight satisfied. I'll also pray for all who go without adequate food today. Moving on with my life story, yesterday I gave you a brief overview of how I struggled with Asperger's as a kid. And then I went into detail on my childhood fire alarm phobia, just one of many Asperger's symptoms I had. On top of all that, I also got picked on a lot as a kid for all my weird behavior, especially for being a crybaby and a very sore loser. But I can't say that I was just an innocent victim. I must confess that I also occasionally picked on and was very judgmental of a boy in my class who had even more severe autism than me. In second grade, I discovered that he didn't like when I said the word weenie, so I would say it to him over and over at recess. I wasn't supposedly calling him a weenie. I was really just saying it because it annoyed him. He may have thought I was calling him a weenie, but I just said it because I found his reactions amusing. Later on in elementary and middle school, I was often judgmental of this kid's uncontrollable, self-stimulating behaviors, and I would treat him like he had cooties, acting all crazy if he touched me. Obviously now I feel terrible about having done all this, and I would certainly apologize to him if I ever see him again. But I digress. Because of my own weird and immature behaviors, I didn't have very many friends in elementary and middle school. I did have some sort of close friends, but I wouldn't say that I was truly best friends with any of them. Before 5th grade, I didn't mind being a loner most of the time. 5th grade was the first time I felt kind of sad on the last day of school, because I felt like summer was going to be more boring than the school year. That was when I first started to desire friends and a social life, but I already had a reputation as a weird, antisocial kid, and I still had a lot of behavior problems at that time. So there wasn't much I could do to break out of it. Whenever I was at home with no work to do and nobody to hang out with as a kid, I typically kept myself busy with TV and whatever else I was obsessed with at the time. One of my strongest symptoms of Asperger's back in the day was a tendency to become obsessed with specific areas of interest. Usually my most intense obsessions were with specific video games or TV shows, especially game shows. My favorite thing about having a weekday off from school always used to be watching The Price is Right. And when Game Show Network got added to our cable package in 2002, I would watch it for hours and hours every day. I idolize all the game show hosts, and I dreamed of being a game show host for a while. As for video games, I would usually be obsessed with one game at a time, and I would periodically switch back and forth between them. The one game I was obsessed with more than any other was Donkey Kong 64. In third grade, that game was one of the only things I ever talked about. Whenever I won any kind of game in the classroom, I would do that victory dance that Donkey Kong does after he gets a golden banana. I remember it took me over a year to beat that game because my parents would take away my video games for a month every time my teacher sent me home with a note saying that I had done something bad in school, which happened at least 4 or 5 times in third grade. As you might imagine, my obsession with all these video games and game shows cultivated a mentality in which winning was extremely important. As a kid, I wanted to be the very best at everything I did. Though, ironically, unlike most of my peers, I never had any interest in playing Pokemon. One of the only things that motivated me to work hard as a kid was the desire to win. That's how I went from having no desire to do any work in kindergarten to having grades near the top of my class for most of the rest of my school years. I studied hard in elementary school because I wanted to prove that I was the best, not because I cared about my education. I got green with envy every time a classmate would bring in a trophy for show and tell. Most of the trophies they brought in were for athletic stuff, which I was never good at because I was too lazy and too much of a sore loser to practice enough to get good at any sports. As I got older, I became less of a sore loser, but I started to envy my peers for having more active social lives than me. All in all, I was a very self-centered child. Not sure if I'll have time to make another video tomorrow. Won't know what my next assignment is until I get to my delivery in upstate New York. Hopefully I'll have time to continue with my life story soon. Till next time, please keep me in your prayers, and I will keep you in mine. God bless.